Hello and welcome to the Comfort Zone. I'm Sheryl Corriveau,
And I'm Paula Sullivan.
and today this is our guest.
Irene Kneeland.
And Irene is an amazing videographer.
I have a business called Illustravisions Video, and I've been doing it for, gosh, it's been 20 years. So it's been a while, and things have evolved.
Yes, because you mentioned that you sort of self-taught yourself.
Yeah, well, I started in, public television, or, cable television when Sutton didn't have anything. So it was back in VHS days and SVHS days when editing was laborious and town meetings were long. And But it was pretty much volunteering for the town where and at the time there really wasn't anybody to learn from, so I went to places like Northbridge and Uxbridge and all over the towns trying to figure out what a cable person does. What do you do on a cable board?
Wow.
And so I didn't really know much. I didn't know anything when I started, but we wanted to really get we wanted to get our own programming on the town so that people could see what was going on in Sutton and have, the meetings, the selectmen's meetings and stuff on cable. And so it was quite a learning experience, that's for sure.
I bet. Was it like, did you just love it?
Well, at first it was intimidating because I saw that red, yellow, and white cord, and I had no idea what they did. I didn't know where they went, and it was very intimidating. And I'd never held a camera before, but eventually we got people on the board who really knew their stuff, and I started to really learn, about editing and equipment, and that was in that whole transition from analog to digital too. So I don't know how much you folks remember, but that was a strange period of production because you didn't know what format was going to take hold, and everything turned digital, but then it went from mini DV to chips to, every camera was different. So
Oh my goodness.
had you the 4.3, and now you have the 16:9, and now of course it's ultra H. It changes all the time, but it was a definitely a time to be appreciating what digital meant when we went into that digital phase. It just made everything so much more enjoyable. I mean, you could, instead of having to go back if you made a mistake, you switch things around, and it was lovely. And that's when it became fun.
Wow.
So
you grew up with all the changes and the technology.
right.
And you did my video for my crowdfunding campaign, which is not out yet. And I was like shocked at how much equipment.
Here's a lot of stuff.
Yes.
Well, as you look around the studio, look at all the lights, looking at all the backdrops, and when you need to do that in a smaller space, you got to bring that all in. And
It was very impressive.
Yeah.
I have so much respect for your work, and even you just have a natural knack and way with people, from my experience personally.
well,
And
thank you,
you seem like you really love what you do.
To me, the most fun about this profession is that I get to learn about everybody else's business.
Oh yeah.
It's an education. There's no such thing as the same job. I mean, I used to just do sports, and that was kind of that's how I started. People, oh, you want to do a sports reel for my kid, so I started doing that. But even that wasn't the same. Every different soccer, lacrosse, whatever. But now it's more like I really love like your profession, and every time I learn about new people's professions. So, the name of my business is Illustravisions. So, I try to bring your visions out. I don't want to tell you what I know about the industry or what you need to say. I want to pull it out of you so you have your voice
Yes.
in our production, So that's kind of my philosophy, and so far it's worked.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So did your business grow slowly and organically, or was there a time when you said, I'm going to do this, yikes, this is scary? Or did it just sort of grow?
It kind of just grew, and of course, you know, you have to acquire equipment because it's a really expensive profession to be in. The technology changes, the computers change. You've got updates and upgrades, and it's hard to keep up with everything, as you know. I mean, you've got sound, lighting,
Right.
camera equipment formats, and sometimes it does get overwhelming, and you do kind of get behind. And you know, I've always got this wish list of so many more things I'd love. But yeah, it grew. I learned more about equipment. I do a lot of studying online too. So I belong to the, you know, lynda.com, which is, you know, you can go on and learn from experts all over the country and take college courses and stuff.
wow.
So I do a lot of that as well. And whenever I have lulls, that's what I fill my time with. So always
So
trying to
good.
learn.
That's
Yeah.
So
good.
can you give the listeners, the watchers, some advice on starting a business? What would you say in maintaining a business, because you've had it for so long? So what have you learned along the way?
Well, there are ways to do things very inexpensively. And you don't need to start out with the great latest and greatest. Sometimes you go to Home Depot and you get the lights from there, and you just, or it doesn't have to be Home Depot, it could be any box store. But you can find a way to do things less expensively until you have the money to buy that next step. You know, I don't believe in going into major debt to try to finance, you know, a business, especially if you're just getting started and you don't really know where it's going to go. I don't know. I feel like, you know, as long as your passion is there, I think you're going to be successful. But you have to watch your bottom dollar, and you have to you do have to charge I mean, you can't do everything on the cheap, because then you're going to shoot yourself in the foot in the end. So you have to charge a proper amount, and you have to tell people honestly how much time it's going to take you to do something.
Has that been a struggle with you? Because I know in general women undercharge. Has it
Yeah,
been an issue, or no? You knew from
Yeah, in the beginning, oh yeah,
Yeah,
that
just-
happened to me, and
right, yeah.
I wasn't going to be able to survive on that. But you know, you get your feet wet. I
Yeah.
did a lot of pro bono work for charities. The Whiten Community Center. I do a lot of pro bono work for them, and I find that, you know, I've always got a great portfolio piece. I love working with the kids. I love working with their staff. They're wonderful people. They've done such great things for the community. So, you know, I suppose they're my guinea pigs.
Right?
But yeah, and, you know, it's been a lot of fun. Yeah, and so I get exposure. I feel it always comes back to me.
Yeah.
So, you know, I get new clients. I've been asked to be as a corporator on the board there, so I get to meet great people, networking. You know, and it's networking, as you
Yeah.
know, knowing the right people, getting to know the right people. It does make a difference.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Huge. Yeah.
But yeah, so I've also added different services to, you know, I've gone from doing just video production, you know, mostly for web and, you know, business, the About Us pages and stuff like that. But I still love like the built environment, you know, so I was doing some work, actually training videos up at the Upper Blackstone, and whenever they do upgrades, they have to document all of the parts of the building that are going to be touched in the new. It's part of the regulations. Anything that's going to be upgraded. And I did a project videotaping all of that, and it was so difficult on my back, my shoulders for days. You know, 2.5 days. Oh my goodness, I was sore, and I thought there's got to be a better way to do this. So that's when I discovered the 360 virtual tours, and that's when I started looking into that equipment and how much that was going to cost and how much it was going to add to my business. So now it's another part of the business, another part that I can offer people. So
That's so cool. So what exactly is that?
So we have this set up, and I don't know how well we can zoom in on this, but I'm going to start one of the virtual tours here. So this is a virtual tour of this is actually a home that is for sale, and these virtual tours are quite nice because you get
So cool.
you get the sense of being there. It is a lot like Google Street View, you know. So it is actually the same people who've developed the Matterport. But the nice thing about it is, it's a virtual reality tool, but there's a lot more you can do with that too. So now you can, wherever you put your camera, you can then download
Wow.
the 360 from each of those spots, and those can become something for your Facebook page.
Oh, wow.
Because Facebook does see the 360, 360 photos, and it recognizes them.
So you went into this house,
And this,
and the camera.
Yeah.
Did you spin around, or do you have?
yeah, the
How'd
camera
you-
spins around. You have to run around the camera or hide.
Oh.
And
So it's on almost like a tripod that does
Yep.
different things.
Yep.
Yeah.
it's on this tripod, and you move it through the spaces. And after you move through the spaces, it then gets
So is it
pretty
on
much.
wheels so that you?
No, no,
So
this
you're
is.
moving it through the spaces.
Yeah,
but
I
it's-
am
but
moving
it's
through the
spinning,
spaces.
It's kind of spinning and.
Is it
Yeah,
like a
you
gimbal?
you each time you basically have to you reposition the camera. It has to go anywhere. You can see where the circles are at the bottom, and you can pretty much see where
Where you put it.
where you put
place
it,
them.
and you can also you can do capture. What you're really doing, you're using infrared to capture the 3D space, and then the
Wow.
photograph gets laid on that 3D space. So it's
Wow.
actually something that you can download into CAD in the end, and you can get floor plans, and you can get, there's all kinds of assets
Wow.
that you can get from it. So yeah, the technology has really come a long way. This happens to be a pretty high quality camera. There are also cameras that can do even more. Like when I went and did this project, this happens to be 110,000 square foot.
Wow.
But the fact that this is such a huge space, I had to rent a different kind of camera that actually gave me the ability to go 30 feet instead of 8 feet.
Oh, wow.
So, and that really gives you the sense of
Whoa, that's a big
space.
space.
And then if you look at the size of this building, so and the beauty of these is that you can send these links to people who have to give you quotes for sprinkler
Really?
systems and
Saving so much work and time.
They can give you a quote right from their desktop.
Wow.
And
That's amazing.
yeah.
How did you
so
get that view?
This is just that view happens to be what they call the dollhouse view, and you can then look at it from any angle,
Wow.
and you can also make videos, and it's just a really powerful tool.
So cool.
Does it take you hours and hours to figure it out, or no? You
Not
kinda,
to figure it. I mean, it's
Yeah.
a fairly straightforward program, but yeah, there's a learning curve, especially with tall spaces, infrared. You have to do certain things with a lot of glass. You have to do at sunset or at sunrise. So there's some times where you actually need a iPod because you have vaulted spaces, but it is. In the end, that after you get the hang of it, it's a great tool.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
So cool.
So
You must love learning because
I do.
it's like you can just see like it's never ending.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's people that do it so much more than I do in the sense of engineering, and they may be doing, using drone shots and all
yeah.
kinds of other things that combine together.
Right.
And that technology is really coming along. It's just like crazy how that's developing. But
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so cool, though.
And
So, what would be an example that someone would want that for Facebook? Like,
well, any of the so say you have an Airbnb.
Oh.
So like I don't know if he wants, but this is not in this area, so I'm not I'm not selling the Airbnb. But so say you have a space, an Airbnb, and you want to let people go into the home to see what it's like, and
such a
you know
good idea.
it really is. It lets you be
For
there without being
anything,
there.
Yeah.
even for like a doggy daycare, or just to, right? Like
Right.
anything
Right,
to just
right.
see.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because you
I
have
love it.
people who want to experience. Well, if you had a photo versus a video versus now you can go there with your
Oh
fingers,
my God.
it just makes a big
Yeah.
difference. So you can
Wow.
choose the right space for whatever, whatever you're doing. So, and restaurants and other kinds of businesses, they can, if you're on a street that has Google Street, you can actually link this. So the car, you are on Google Street and you see a business, you can literally walk from the street into the business because
my
this
God.
can link to Google Street.
How awesome.
So it's a powerful tool.
Wow.
Now, do your customers has it brought a lot of business yet, or is it so new people still don't know that you have this capability?
It's still a hard sell. So until people really see the benefits,
Yeah.
and what's neat here too is that it can be looked at via Google Analytics. So you can actually see. So say realtors, they really want to know how many people are looking at it. You have a business along a street, and they also kind of want to know: do people use this? Do they click on it? And in this program, you can see the Google Analytics.
great.
You can tell how much time people spend on it, and yeah, it's once you see the numbers, then it makes sense. So yeah, it's a pretty amazing tool. But yeah, it's fun.
So, how are people mostly finding out about your work?
Well, I'm mostly word of mouth.
Okay.
I'm getting more traffic on my website because of, of course, I'm doing more of the social media. I've got the Facebook, the LinkedIn, the website, but I also belong to a networking group. So it is mostly word of mouth at this point, but I am starting to get a little bit more traffic on my website, people calling me to find out how much it costs, and and it's not just the virtual tours. I have samples of both my video work and the virtual tours on my website. So, just trying to keep it fresh, keep it, post new things.
Yes. That's so great. And so, social media, you use that? You've been using that more?
Yeah, I mean, I can't say that I'm a guru. I really need to learn more about that. But as you know, when you're working in your business,
Yeah.
it's hard to work on your business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And sometimes you really need help to
Yeah.
understand that too.
Oh my God, totally.
Yeah.
Because there's so many hats you wear. We
Yeah.
all know that
Yeah.
as entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of hats.
Yeah. So one thing now, Sheryl is really good at not being overwhelmed. She's really got a talent for working on her business and not in it.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you get overwhelmed? Are there some tactics you have for overcoming overwhelm? Trying to get everything on your to-do list done, or
Wow.
That's a good question.
Yeah, and when this is a feast or famine sort of thing, and I've spent many of weeks going, oh my God, I have nothing on the slate, and then all of a sudden I've got so many things on the slate, and I'm working up through the night, and then early in the morning, and through the weekends, and then it's dead again.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
I guess I'm not a really good person to say how to manage that because it's peaks and valleys.
Well, it looks like you do it well because you look pretty. You don't look frazzled. And,
Oh, thank you.
You enjoy it so much.
I do.
Yeah.
It's a great business to be in.
Yeah. So what's your competition like now? So you're in Sutton, and how far do you go, and what's your competition like?
Well, I go into the outer areas of Boston. I do some work in, say, like Concord, and I've gone down into Rhode Island and the Providence area. It really depends on what it is we're shooting. And if I'm doing like a 30-second commercial or something, and, we've got to get testimonials and stuff, there's a lot of traveling. There are a lot of videographers out there who do just weddings. But that are not my competition, really.
Yeah.
I don't do the events of those sorts. I try to focus in on the business and the web productions, or the commercials for Shrewsbury Cable, which is, they own their own cable plant, so they actually sell their own ad space. So that's where I can get some business there. There's a lot of people who do just sports. I mean, that's a whole industry all on its own, and they may not do this kind. So, there are big production houses, and they're going to be a lot more expensive, and they're going to have a lot more people on their team, and they're going to have, crews. But I'm just me.
Yeah.
I just take a lot of time to put the stuff together and pull it all apart. So yeah, I can kind of control the costs that way, I guess. And I give people a break when I can, and charge when I have to.
Now, what about from a self-care angle? Because when you're giving so much and putting yourself out there so much, for me anyway, I feel like I need to pull back and really have a lot of self-care practices. Do you?
Yeah. Well,
I know you even mentioned physically, because some of this equipment, I helped you, and it's heavy. A lot of it's heavy, and I'm like, oh my God, this is a workout. You don't need to work out.
If I did that every day, I'd be.
Yeah, seriously.
No, my retreat is my garden.
Nice.
So I've for years and years, I've had an organic garden out back, and I've just produced lots and lots of food, and that was, that's my healthy retreat.
Yeah.
This year I'm trying to produce lots and lots of flowers because my daughter's getting married in September,
Oh my God.
and it's going to be at the house, and so I'm going to try to grow most of the flowers. So a little change. I hope I'm successful. The spring has been a little bit wet.
I know. A lot.
Good for the flowers, though.
Yeah.
Right?
My flowers outside look like they've gotten Miracle Grow on them.
Oh.
They're so huge. It's from all the rain.
Yeah.
They're usually this big, and they're this big.
Yeah. Yeah. We just need some sun too.
Yeah.
I hope they hear me. Sun.
I know. No, that's so good. And I think that we all need, I go out in nature a lot with my dog. And you, I know, spend time doing a lot of different things.
Yeah, I
But
like nature.
Yeah.
Hiking,
Outside.
walking.
Yeah,
We do a lot of
anything,
that. Yeah. It's I know.
And I think that's great that you garden, especially because you're with equipment, techie equipment, and it's like gardening is the complete, nature is just a really.
In that technology, it's that love-hate relationship. When it's working, it's great. When it's
Yeah,
not,
yeah.
it is so difficult. You're just chasing it down. That's the difference between the nature. There's no update, no upgrade.
Yeah.
No operating
Yes,
system that's
I know,
different.
I know.
I think in general we need that balance nowadays because of all the technology, because of all the constant, commanding our attention, that it's like to unhook and do that quiet thing and the grounding sort of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I just, I know the kids growing up nowadays, they're so glued to the screen. Some of them don't even know how to grow stuff, or they don't spend a lot of times outdoors. And it's, sometimes actually, I was doing a little production class for Whiten Community Center, and a lot of the kids, they were asked to, not look at their screens and pay attention and stuff. And I don't know, we didn't have that growing up.
Yeah.
So
even my kids didn't have that growing up.
Yeah. So
Not
it's
like it is today,
it's a different it's a different dynamic now.
Yeah.
So unplugging is a really good thing.
Yeah.
And speaking of kids and technology and just how it's, how our cell phones are there's so much on them. Do you find that that's digging into your business, or no? Because it just doesn't have the.
I feel it's just another opportunity, because you can, people have. I just did a project for. It was a retirement project. The director was retiring, and the whole department wanted to give him a gift. So I took some video, and the people who weren't there took their own video and sent me their own video. So they were saying thank you and goodbyes and stuff, and it's, we would have missed them. And I've done like highlights of a 10-year-old's hockey team. The parents took the videos all season.
Oh, wow.
And they chose little clips to send me, and we made
Oh, that's cool.
you know,
Oh,
the
that's great.
it was the the end of the year banquet, probably pizza and soda, and they watched their videos.
That's so cool.
So it's an inexpensive way to do it, and think kids enjoy it, and I can take in. Oh my God, I've seen the cell phone videos from all different cameras, from all different angles, and But in the end, you turn them the right way, and you treat them like the cell phone videos with the background and stuff, and you make it look nice, and in the end, throw a little music on the back and make it a polished production.
That's good. So even with people's technology on their phone, they still need you for the editing and for so much.
They could.
Yeah.
They could.
Yeah.
But it's amazing what you can do with your cell phone now. And the footage is getting so much more stable, and so it's not as jittery and jerky. There's, and I feel like it's just another opportunity.
Yeah.
So you're not worried. It's not, you don't feel like it's.
No. And that my angle is that I help people write the scripts. I help people talk about, if they're doing a commercial, I help them get to the meat of how to sell that business or how to help that business. And you might not be doing that with your cell phone. You might be,
right.
but maybe you're not.
Yes.
So, and I can always take in little pieces and parts that you've already shot by yourself. But to make it a polished product, you might need some help. You might need some color correction. You might need some, other bells and whistles. So I can do that.
Awesome.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, that's exciting. It's like the world is your oyster.
I know.
There's just so much. There's so much different opportunities and yeah.
And I think having another set of eyes on anything can help. I know even with the video, I had Paula and a couple other people, like, and people would see something that I didn't see, and so I think it's...
And it evolves. And
totally.
so, and that's also part of that process, because it's not, that's why we shoot multiple times, and we try to get different angles, and that is part of it's an evolution sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's got to be you. It's got to be your project. It's got to be. You got to be happy with it. You don't want to put something out there that you're not happy with.
Even that attitude I was so thankful, because you just had such a good way about you. Your energy was great, which I think makes a big difference.
Yeah.
In whatever you're doing, So I think it came out great.
That was fun project.
It was fun.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah.
I hope it does the trick, and
I
I really
hope so too.
I can't wait to see it when you're
Thank
when you got it up.
So we have a minute left. So Irene, tell us how, again, I know you mentioned it, but your website, how people can get in touch with you, find you.
So illustravisionsvideo.com, and I have a portfolio there for all my video. There is a portfolio section for the video and for the virtual tours. And, people always can email me through the website, and I'm on Facebook, so people can look up Illustra Visions Video, see what the new stuff is, see what those 360 photos look like.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, so, and I'm on LinkedIn as well, and I'm local.
I love it. Well, I hope this gets you more business too, and thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you so much for having me. This was a lot of fun.
Great.
Right?
It's a different being behind the camera.
I know, I know. Yes, this was so great. So thank you for watching, and until next time, get out of your comfort zone.